Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. It's a nice kind of dreary fall evening here, a Sunday, which I don't usually fly on Sundays, so this is a little bit rare. But we got a quick flight over to Milwaukee, which is north side of Chicago, just a couple miles north of O'Hare. So it should be a good flight. It's kind of a little bit breezy here, not too bad. Over in Chicago, the clouds are a little higher, so I think we'll probably be under the clouds for most of the flight. We got to fly pretty low on the way over there, so should get some good footage. Got the 360 camera going on the wing, so should get some good footage with that. Hope you guys enjoy the flight. Let's go fly. All right, pre-flight's done. We'll clear left, center, and right. We got at least 24 volts. Lights are on. Here we go. At least 13% NG, introduce fuel, light off within 10 seconds. Everything's coming up nicely. We're watching for a spike on the ITT. If it goes too high, we cut off fuel. Ignition goes off, and now it's burning on its own. First spike was good. It's pretty low, actually. Starter goes off around 50%. Second spike is good. NG stabilizes between 60 and 65, and MP should be above 950. Generators are online. That's a good start. Alright, go ahead and turn all the ice protection stuff on for a test. It shouldn't be high enough to really have a concern with ice, but there is an icing air met.
Okay.
Freezing levels between 4,000 and 5,000 feet, but we'll be at 4,000 and shouldn't be in the clouds, or not much anyway.
Alright.
Dave, you have your own radio controls up here, so this is separate than mine.
Oh. Perfect.
340 at 10. Visibility 10. Sky condition overcast 9,000. Temperature 10 Celsius. Dew point 05 Celsius. Altimeter 2986. Remarks. Density altitude 500.
Alright, weather looks pretty good. We got 2986 set, and we'll go ahead and call for our clearance. And it's been a minute. We've turned the ice protection stuff off here. Everybody didn't have any cast messages. Good evening, South Bend clearance. Pilatus 921 November Golf on the ground at Goshen, IFR to executive.
Hello, 921 November Golf, South Bend clearance. Hold to release the Goshen Airport. You clear to the Chicago Executive Airport as filed. Maintain 3,000. Expect 4,000. 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 118.55. Squawk 4316.
921 November Golf, I am holding for release here at Goshen, cleared to Chicago Executive as filed. 3,000, 4,000 in 10 minutes, departure 1855, squawk 4316.
921 November Golf, your readback is correct. The altimeter 2987, assume you're using 27 today.
Hey firm, we'll use 27. I'll give you a call when we're number 1 and ready, 1 November Golf.
Right that, copy that.
AM air raid taxi. Alright, we'll check the brakes. They work. Spec beta available. It is available.
We don't need the brakes.
That's optional. I mean, honestly, in the PC-12, most landings you don't use the brakes much anyway, and that's why they actually have a section of the DOH on conditioning of the brakes. If you don't use them very often, you're supposed to condition them every, I don't know, it's like something like every 50 or 60 landings or something. Goshen traffic, Pilatus 921 November Golf, taxi runway 27, Goshen.
I mean, they come in handy on taxi.
That's true. Turn radius without the brakes is not great in Pilatus.
No, you have to go off-road.
Yeah.
You're probably going to end up just editing everything I say out of the video at the end. Do the pusher test. So it shakes on my side, then it shakes on your side, then it shakes both sides, then it pushes and I interrupt it. And then I do a control check here. And everything's free and correct. That's all good. Welcome aboard the PC-12, everybody. Like I said, we got a quick short flight over to Chicago. Should be a good flight. We should be mostly out of the clouds. There might be some stray low clouds around, but for the most part, they're supposed to be pretty high. I mean, here it's 9,000 overcast. I'm going over the lake. Our first waypoint is Muskie, and they always want you at 4,000 to cross Muskie, so I usually don't go higher than that because it's not too far over. I got a friend of mine, Dave, here flying with me today. He's a private pilot, so getting him some time in the PC-12.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I might even let him embarrass himself on the radio a little bit. We'll see.
Yep. I'll give the wrong tail number on purpose.
So that comes on if the probes are off below 10C. Alright, we'll go ahead and do the fat eye fly. Flaps, we'll do 15 for normal takeoff. Probes and takeoff config will go away when we get everything set up. Trims are all in the green, amps are below 30, ACS is in auto. Windshield heats on light, flight idle when we take the runway. Lights, yaw amp is verified off. And we'll give clearance a call. Clearance Pilatus 921 November Golf, number 1 and ready, runway 27 at Goshen.
Pilatus 921 November Golf, Roger, when entering controlled airspace, proceed direct Muskie, climb maintain 4,000, you are released your departure from the Goshen Airport, Pilatus Airborne.
Direct Muskie, climb to 4,000, release for departure off Goshen, 921 November Golf. Alright, got runway heading 273 set here on the heading bug, and fat eye fly was complete. Take our departure call, and we're on our way. Goshen traffic, Pilatus 921 November Golf, departing runway 27, Goshen. And we should have about a 1,700 foot ground roll today. Alright, flight idle. Pass is clear, all the gauges look good. A little bit of right crosswind, and here we go. Oop. Might move the PC a little fast on that one. Alright, all the gauges look great. Airspeed's coming alive, hold the center line. 70 knots, cross check, rotated about 80. And positive rate on the brakes, no more usable runway gears coming up. And taxi and landing lights will come off, and the odd-amber can come on. Under knots and 400 feet, bring the flaps up. Okay, it looks clear out here, so we'll go ahead and turn direct to Muskie. Goshen traffic, Pilatus 921 November Golf, departing the area to the northwest, Goshen.
We're under the clouds in the clear. That area precip, well, we can see through it, so it doesn't look all that clear.
Roger. Southwest 3494, descend to maintain 10,000.
Evening, South Bend approach, Pilatus 921 November Golf, off Goshen 2,400, climbing 4,000.
Pilatus 921 November Golf, South Bend departure, good evening, hi then. Police 36586, contact Chicago Center, 134.87, you have a good one. Pilatus 1 November Golf, ready to contact 3 northwest of the Goshen Airport, the altimeter is open 2987.
87, 1 November Golf. And 1,000 feet to go.
The rain looks cool off to the right.
Yeah, it does.
Can't explain how cool rain is from the air until like you've seen it at low altitude.
Yeah.
I love it. Still a minute.
Number 9 to uniform, Elkhart Airport, 12 o'clock, about 10 miles.
Gotta get your instrument rating.
Yes, sir, we've got the airport in sight, 19.
Not quite as scary then.
Kilo 9 uniform, clear visual approach at the Elkhart Airport, contact Elkhart Tower, 119.5, you have a good one.
Actually, I'm gonna do that next. The bug is back in me.
Good. Well, hopefully this fuels it a little more.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, we're at our cruising altitude of 4,000 feet. I'll go ahead and let the autopilot fly. 36.9, I know from experience without even looking in the book. That's the max power we can run.
This thing climbs pretty nice.
Yeah, it does.
Reminds me of the Cessna 152 I learned to fly in.
It's
Very similar climb rate.
yeah.
Pilatus 1 November Golf, change to my frequency 118.55.
And 1 November Golf, we are up 1855.
1 November Golf, roger, thank you.
Yeah, Dave, if you want to run radios, you're welcome. Push to talk is on the right side for you.
Okay.
The black one right here. And just make sure you're on the right comm up here. I've got everything set in comm 1, so you'll have to select, the top is what you're talking on. Yep, there you go.
Okay. So I've always been curious, and I'm sure it's an obvious answer, but why is the yaw dampener only something you can use like in flight and not something you can have pre-selected?
Yeah, so the yaw damper dampens the yaw, obviously, and so the main way that you would induce yaw as a pilot is by using the rudder, which are the foot pedals if you're not familiar with airplanes. And so on the ground, you steer an airplane with your feet. Some airplanes like this one, or I guess I would say most airplanes most small airplanes have the rudder pedals connected to the nose wheel on the ground, so you steer the nose wheel with your feet. And if you had the yaw damper connected, you wouldn't be able to do that effectively because it would be fighting you. The other reason is if you're landing or taking off in a crosswind, you actually want to be a little bit uncoordinated to be able to land straight without side loading the landing gear, and again, yaw damper would fight that. There's some airplanes that have a cast-ring nose wheel where they just flop around freely and you steer completely with rudder, and so you have to have some airflow. And there's some airplanes where they have, like bigger airplanes have something called a tiller, which is a little hand knob that you steer the nose wheel with versus using the rudders. But in any case, you don't want to have the yaw damper connected for takeoff and landing, otherwise you'll have a little bit of trouble controlling it.
You can totally edit this out, but even as a private pilot, I did know that. I just think a lot of people maybe don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to point out that I didn't know that you need your feet on the ground to steer. Okay.
I made the assumption that you were asking that for the benefit of the viewer.
It was just,
not
I
for
was just
yourself.
I was just curious about it, because, I'm curious to ask it because I feel like maybe people are at different stages of their flight training or just curious about flying. And
Yeah, for sure. And even for, somebody that's a private pilot like yourself, you might not necessarily really know because small airplanes like the 152 that you train in doesn't have a yaw damper. That's this size of airplane or twins are about the first stage that you get into something with a yaw damper, so it's not very common in small airplanes.
But I do watch about 5,600 videos on YouTube every month, so
That's good.
yeah,
I don't have that many videos out, so you must be watching my videos on repeat then.
yeah, it's just your videos. Yeah. I didn't realize there were others. I like that you're like, Dave, you could do the radios. We'll get no radio calls for about 40 miles and it'll be changed to Chicago frequency.
Honestly, it probably will be that way. Probably about 5 miles before Muskie, they'll give us a switch to Chicago, and then it'll get a little busier again.
That's okay.
I guess I just switched some radios. I should have had you do that.
That's all right.
I set up, I like to listen to guard, the emergency frequency, just for, in case I miss a radio call and they need to reach out to me, or if I hear somebody else that's got an issue, maybe help out with that.
Yeah.
That's kind of considered the best practice.
Well, even as a private pilot, there's been times where I've been asked to call other aircraft in the area because the tower can't get them, but maybe I can get them in the air. So that's actually happened to me twice, and I don't fly like you do, so it's actually pretty common.
Yeah, it is. A lot of times for that case, usually is not on guard. Sometimes they ask you to reach out on guard. Did they ask you to reach out on guard in your case? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but
a lot of times it's somebody you're on the same frequency as them and kind of in their vicinity.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, that's right.
But sometimes, because with guard they can announce on all of the transmitters a lot more. So.
And it's always 21.5, right, in general?
Yep, that's the guard frequency, emergency frequency.
I don't even know how to change the radios, actually.
Yeah, that would be good to tell you.
So you have to have the, well, if you're going to use the number pad,
Okay.
you have to have the cursor on the screen that
Yeah.
you're changing. So to do that, these arrows can select which screen, so you can just select whichever one. And then, so whatever box is highlighted is going to be the one you're changing. You can do that, or you can select it with these soft keys,
Okay, yep.
and then you can turn it with this, but
Okay.
it's got quite a bit of delay, so I find it a little bit annoying to use that.
So easier here. Maybe I'll just talk and you can press the buttons.
That sounds good.
I only need to press the buttons in an emergency situation.
But now you know.
Yeah.
It was a really nice evening.
It's actually cleared up really beautifully.
Yeah, it really has. We have 75 miles en route, which is not quite direct line because muskie and deer are two waypoints in our route. Take us a little bit of a circle, a little arc, but I can see Chicago pretty well from here. It probably won't show up on the cameras very well, but
Oh, yeah, I can see.
you can see downtown really well from the 70 miles away. It's pretty clear today.
Yeah. It is funny how quick the weather can change in this area with the lake and things, but
Yeah.
like if we had taken off 3 hours ago, there would have been a lot of rain in the area. And
Yeah, there was a lot of showers. Yeah, that's true. But, you know, probably once we got to the lake, it would have been
behind
pretty
us.
clear. Yeah. And actually, a few hours ago when I was looking at the weather, that's what it was. Over at Executive, it was scattered clouds, and here in Goshen, it was, you know, broken, overcast, and rainy. It picks up a lot of moisture coming off the lake.
Yeah. I'm
And-
Irish, so I like rain.
Yeah, there you go.
Makes me,
Used to it. Makes you feel like home, huh?
yeah.
Well, I will refrain from embarrassing myself with my poor Irish accent.
Listen, I just got to start liking you. Just don't ruin it too soon, okay? Plus, I only heard about a half a second there, and it sounded suspiciously Scottish.
Okay, yeah, when I try to do my accents, we'll put that in quotes. It's some weird combination of Irish, Scottish, and Australian that kind of just like mixes together, you know?
The funniest thing when I moved to this area, people kept on telling, like they were like, "That's not a real Irish accent," and I was like, "Well, I'm sorry."
You're a fraud.
I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't sound like the Lucky Charms commercial."
Well, if it's one thing that we Americans know, we do know accents
Yeah.
very well and world geography. So
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
you probably are wrong. So
Yeah.
all right, we're pretty low, 60 miles. I think we'll probably be able to get the weather. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that before it gets too busy.
Airport information, Whiskey 2052 Zulu, weather observation, wind 3207, visibility 10. Back condition clear.
I want to Mike South Approach, 707, 87, it's the 3-1 center transition, we're going to maintain 10,000.
IBAR, I was unable to cancel IBAR circle, about Chicago approach on initial contact. Ensure proper.
You know, the thing that was drilled into me from the start of learning to fly.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Notice the airman, runway 30 reels out of service. Use cost for speed interference 65 miles north of the field. Advise on contact. You have an information Whiskey.
All right, Whiskey, wind 320 at 7. Sounds like they're landing 14 and 30. Probably we'll circle to 30, or they'll probably put us on a right base kind of thing to 30. Yeah, you might not have had that up.
No, I didn't. Sorry, my bad.
Com2, there you go.
25 Echo Bravo, South Approach, stop on altimeter 2987.
It's Whiskey, so fitting for being Irish. I thought it would smooth out a little more over the lake, but it hasn't smoothed out too much.
I'm like anxiously waiting for them to call her. I'm like, don't press the red button.
Yeah, don't press the red button.
No, but you made a good point, like checking the weather, you know, is like, even for me as a private pilot, like staying ahead of the aircraft is so important.
432,
Yeah.
stop in airport approximately 10 o'clock here and 14 miles.
Yep, it makes things a lot easier if you can think ahead, do things ahead of time as much as you can.
Goal, cross Haley at 6,000.
Actually, one of the things that I kind of dislike about the Honeywell Apex system is that, like with Garmin, at least in the non-FMS Garmin stuff like the G600 and G1000, or the GTN 650 and 750s, you can load an approach and have it in standby. And so it's not actually part of your flight plan. It doesn't have any of the waypoints in your flight plan. It's just kind of standby, and then you can activate it later. So you can go through it and make sure everything's appropriate and kind of load it in there and just be ready to hit activate approach, and it'll pop it into your flight plan. You can't do that in this system. You can only add it to your flight plan. So there's some workarounds, like, you know, for like here, our filed route and our approved route is Muskie, Deer, Milwaukee. That's what we're supposed to fly. But if I was going to put the RNAV to 16, which is what they always fly, that's what they're advertising, it would go to Northbrook, from Deer to Northbrook to some other waypoints into the airport. But that might not be what we're planning on. So we would have to put the airport back in front of Deer, or after Deer, in front of Northbrook. Which is kind of an extra step to do, and so it kind of discourages that planning ahead part. And I mean, it's caught me a couple times where I would have had it in ahead of time if it had been a different system, but I chose not to for whatever reason, and then I had to scramble a little bit.
Yeah. Well, especially depends on where you're flying into. Like Chicago's pretty busy, so.
Yeah, can be.
Surprised he hasn't passed us over yet.
Yeah, normally they do it around Muskie, but
Pilatus 1 November Golf, contact Chicago approach on 120.55. Have a good night.
12055?
Yep.
12055 for 1 November Golf. Have a good night. Thank you.
Charlie Sarah to maintain a 3000 Joaquin.
And Chicago approach?
1 to 2 o'clock.
Yep.
And 1
Just tell them our altitude?
Yep.
Okay, we actually have Joaquin in sight, and we're going to descend to 3000. 7 Charlie Sarah. 7 Charlie Sarah, cleared of visual approach, runway 23, contact Waukegan Tower, 120.05, 2005. 2005, 7 Charlie Sarah, we're going to.
Chicago approach, Pilatus, November 921, November Golf is with you at 4,000 feet.
Plus 921 November Golf, Chicago approach, see direct to OIFAM for the RNAV 16.
Alright, for the RNAV 16, November 921, November Golf.
November Golf, see direct to OIFAM and advise information with you.
Direct to OIFAM, and we do have information with D921 November Golf.
I think the J832, 6 miles from
So,
did you say that the first time?
3,000.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Maintain 170 knots or greater.
No biggie.
You were right. You said I'd make a fool of myself on the radio.
There's the RNAV 16 and
I didn't hear him say that.
All right. All right. Direct to OIFAM.
Between your 11 and 12 o'clock.
Go ahead and set that in so that we're going en route, and then whenever I load an approach, I always like to verify that all of the waypoints are actually correct, and all the altitude restrictions in there, if there are any, are correct. Go through this real quick. OIFAM is the initial approach fix, and then Highview, and it's at or above 2,500 from OIFAM to Highview, and then PAMI at or above 2,300, and then Fugio, and then the runway, and then the missed approach is a climb to 1,200, and then a climbing left turn to Deer and hold. So that is all correct. We got all the waypoints and altitudes in there. Depending on how busy they are, they may or may not actually send us all the way to OIFAM. They might cut us, once we get a little bit closer to Deer, they might kind of cut us over. But
And so when Southbound was passing us off to Chicago, he just used 1 November Golf, right?
yeah, so
He shortened the tail, so that's why when I read it back, I just said 1 November Golf.
yep,
Because once they say it, you're kind of cleared to say it back.
yep, exactly,
Okay.
yep. Initial contact, you should say your
Yeah,
full call sign, although you can leave off the November.
I know, yeah.
I mean, you don't...
Amateur.
Well, no, that's fine. You can say it. There's no problem with saying it, but you can leave it off. But you should say everything after that. And then once they've shortened it, then
Yeah, you can shorten it.
you can shorten it.
And it's like, Dave, you're in America. We know it's November, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're flying one of them Canadian airplanes. But then it's all letters and everybody knows anyway.
Yeah. And you just have to keep saying sorry on the radio all the time.
Exactly. Sorry.
03 uniform, flighting is 020 vector for traffic inbound to executive.
Alright, we're probably close enough to get the FBO, and I set a taxi up for these people, so I need to call them and let them know we're going to be landing in about 15 minutes. Alright, I'm going to talk on COM 2 if you want to listen on COM 1.
Okay.
So if you're, yeah. Hawthorne at Chicago Executive, Pilatus 921 November Golf. Yes, ma'am, it's Pilatus 921 November Golf. We'll be on your ramp in about 15 or 20 minutes and should have a taxi set up for passengers.
3000, cleared on nav 16 approach, maintain a 170 on board corridor.
Alright, thank you very much, ma'am. Alright, so they've got that coming for the passengers.
So if they were to say, for example, like if you got a quicker route to Fugio, for example, is it super easy on this system, like with the cursor? Is it like just click on it and then direct, or is it?
Yeah, so, yep, you just click on it, and then it's got a direct to.
Okay, nice.
So, yeah, you'd sit direct to and then activate. So you can, like, mess around and, like, look, you know, especially if you're going around weather, it'll draw what the route would be in cyan, so you can see that, and then it's not going there, you can cancel that. I know they said they were landing and departing 1430. I kind of think they'll give us 34. That's kind of more standard. It's the bigger runway. Although 30 will be just fine. That's plenty of length. Actually, probably.
11 miles from YFAM, cross YFAM at or above 3000, cleared RNAV 160 approach, and speed restrictions.
Alright, cleared the approach and YFAM at or above 3000, 920 November Golf. You weren't the only one to embarrass yourself on the radio. So we are cleared for the approach. YFAM at or above 3000, so then hit VNAV and it'll descend, looks like after Haigyu, so it'll be a minute before it descends. Okay. The system tries to keep you as high as possible until you get to 3 degrees from the airport, a 3-degree descent angle. Yep. Approach 920 November Golf. I do have executive airport in sight.
921 November Golf, Roger. Do you want to go for the visual instead?
Yeah, sure.
1 November Golf, Roger. Clear visual approach for 916.
Clear visual 16, 1 November Golf. Alright. We're just going to go direct to the airport. Save us a little bit here. And we're going to slow it down a touch. I've been here enough times that I know what the airport looks like. It's kind of hard to pick out if you haven't been. You see it though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golf 1 November Golf, traffic at your 9 to 10 o'clock, 4 miles northbound at 2,500.
Looking for traffic, 1 November Golf. I see him on the ADSB, but I don't see them.
1 November Golf, traffic no factor, contact executive tower 119.9, have a good day.
Tower 19.9, 1 November Golf, see ya.
0.7, good day. Jet speed 124, go ahead and break it off to the east, please. Currently at the turn now, thank you, jet speed 124. Cessna 90831 Golf, proceed on course westbound, I'll call your turn northwestbound, runway 34, clear for takeoff.
We'll proceed westbound, you'll call northwest. Clear for takeoff, 34, 31 Golf.
59 Delta, I need you to start descending. I'm probably going to have to push you south and below that 1900 shelf. Okay, descending now, 59 Delta.
Tower Pilatus 921 November Golf for 8 miles to the northeast on the visual.
Pilatus 921 November Golf, executive tower report cancellation of IFR prior to continuing right downwind runway 34.
Right downwind 34, we can cancel now.
1 November Golf, IFR cancellation received. Remain your current squawk, continue in that right downwind.
Continue right downwind through 34 and we'll keep the squawk, 1 November Golf.
All right, you mind holding this, Dave?
Absolutely.
Thanks, sir. All right, so right downwind for 3-4.
65 Tango would like to depart to the northwest.
For 6265 Tango, Executive Tower. Proceed on course to the northwest, runway 34, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 65 Tango.
And fuel elevation there is 650, so we'll use
no need to fly westbound, you could fly on course
2100 for our pattern
Proceed on
altitude.
course northwestbound, 3-1 golf.
Should clean the windows before I left on a buggy.
Big 59 Delta, reduce your final approach speed. I'll call your
All right.
base, extend downwind.
Okay, reduce speed, you'll call
Below
my downwind,
165,
and
go ahead and go to
Delta
approach
34,
flaps. Don't want to be going.
Delta, you can enter the downwind, but I'll call your base.
Roger, base field downwind, you'll call my base, 59 Delta.
1 November Golf, you can keep that speed going. You're number 2, following a Galaxy on a right base, runway 34, clear to land.
3-4 cleared to land, and I do have the traffic in sight. 1 November Golf.
Golf, that's Vegas, passing off your left at 1,600, no factor.
3-1 golf.
Wind 300 at 8.
Alright, good. Go gear down.
59 Delta, Pilatus on the opposite downwind at 2,100. You got him in sight?
Negative, I'm looking now, 59 Delta.
1 November Golf. You can keep the base in close. The Galaxies over the numbers, no factor at all.
Turn to base now, 1 November Golf.
This is 65 Tango. Do you have that other Cessna heading to your left, 100 feet above in sight?
Negative, still looking.
For 65 Tango, advise, like, so just traffic that's heading to your left, about a quarter mile, same altitude.
Alright,
Cessna.
gear is down, inertial separator is open, flaps are set 15. And yaw damp,
59 Delta, that Pilatus
big
is
go.
going
Actually, I'll
at
go ahead and kick the yaw damp off, and delta pressure is below 0.7.
59 Delta.
Gonna go ahead and go flaps 30.
Say parking, signature. 124, right turn at the end, ground 0.7, good day.
We are not cleared to land.
Speed 124. We go 59 Delta, traffic directly east of you on the base at 1,500.
Got him now, 59 Delta.
We go 59 Delta, runway 34, clear line number 2.
Third land, number 2, 3.
Or did he clear us to land?
From the 65 Tango, you
I don't think I heard it.
400
I don't
feet
believe so.
below you off your left in sight.
Galaxy's still on the runway.
Negative, I have it on my
Yeah, I got
ADSC, but I cannot, no visual.
Roger.
Entire 9-1 November Golf, confirm cleared to land.
Pilatus, 1 November Golf, A, permanent runway 34, clear to land.
3-4 cleared to land, 1 November.
500.
I didn't hear him say it, so
I don't believe he did.
want to confirm it.
If you're not sure, ask.
Absolutely. Alright. Little high and just a little fast will bring out power. Good thing about the Pilatus is it slows down awful quick and pull the power out, so look good. Do have 3 greens, yaw damp's away, delta pressure's good, flap set 30. Little crosswind from the left. Landing a little bit long will keep us out of their jet's wake turbulence, if he did have any. Ooh! You feel that one, Dave?
I actually, I think we're still in the air.
That was one of the smoothest landings I've had. I think I should take you along more often.
121 November, coming up on Tiger. 1210 November, Executive Tower, for cancellation of IFR, prior to circling east or west, your choice, runway 34, stand by for readback. Pilatus 1 November Golf, stay parking.
Hawthorne, sir.
Pilatus 1 November Golf, Kilo 2, ground 0.7, good day.
Kilo 2, ground 0.7, 1 November Golf. Good day.
10 November, go ahead.
Ground Pilatus Niner 2, 1 November Golf. Clear of 3-4 at Kilo 2, going to Hawthorne.
1 November Golf, Kilo Echo Alpha.
Entered runway 16.
Kilo Echo Alpha across runway, is it 24?
That's correct.
You know that was the look of the Irish, right?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, my last couple landings weren't the best. Yesterday was way back from Marco Island. It was really gusty and it was a challenge. And the one into Marco was, I still don't know if that was my fault or not, but I'm going to call myself Captain Kangaroo on that one. Well, welcome to Chicago, everybody. That was a great flight. Beautiful flight over the lake. It was a little bit bumpy at the beginning, but man, arrival here into Chicago was good, and had the luck of the Irish with me.
Oh,
I'm going to stop the accent.
had the luck of the Irish with me, and man, that was one of my smoothest landings I've had. Hope you guys enjoyed the flight. If you want to see more Pilatus videos, you can subscribe to the channel, and I guess I could talk to you. I've got the camera running. And if you want to be notified when I post a new one, ring the bell, and I'll see you on the next one.
Do it.